Have you ever felt like you're just stuck? Stuck in the same old loop, battling the same habits or anxieties day after day? Well, what if I told you that you already have a powerful key to reprogram your own mind? In this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on self-hypnosis and show you how to use it as a practical tool for some real self-improvement. So here's what we've got on deck. We'll kick things off by talking about the trance you're probably in right now. Yep, you heard me. Then we'll get into how to access your subconscious, explore the amazing benefits, and I'll even walk you through your very first session. After that, we'll look at a few different techniques, all so you can start unlocking your potential. All right, let's dive right in. First things first, we really need to talk about what hypnosis is and, more importantly, what it isn't, because the reality is so much more interesting and way less spooky than you might think. No, seriously, think about it for a second. What's the very first picture that pops into your head? For a lot of us, it's probably something straight out of a movie or a Vegas stage show, right? Maybe you're thinking of mind control? The idea that someone else takes over and makes you cluck like a chicken? Yeah, that's probably the biggest myth of them all. The truth is, in hypnosis, you are always 100% in control. Or maybe it's that classic, almost cliché image of a swinging pocket watch. You are getting very sleepy. And while it's a fun trope, it's just not how modern hypnosis, and especially self-hypnosis, actually works. And what about this idea that you're totally out of it, unconscious or asleep? Nope, that's not it either. Hypnosis is actually a state of super focused attention, not a loss of it. And this brings us to this really fascinating idea from a guy named Stephen Walensky. He called it deep trance phenomena. And his whole point was that we don't just enter a trance during hypnosis, we're actually living in different trance states pretty much all day, every day. And this list just perfectly illustrates what he meant. I mean, have you ever daydreamed about an upcoming vacation? That's a trance. Age progression. Got totally lost in a powerful memory from your childhood? That's age regression. Or what about zoning out on your drive home? Or walking into a room and completely forgetting why you went in there? Those are all natural trance states. You're already a total pro at this. So here's the crucial difference between those everyday trances and self-hypnosis. The trances we just slip into are unconscious, they're undirected, they just kind of happen to us. But self-hypnosis, that's a conscious, self-directed process. Instead of getting stuck in some negative thought loop, you learn how to get unstuck by deciding to take the wheel. Okay, so if we're already doing this all the time, how do we make these trances work for us instead of against us? Well, it all comes down to getting access to the most powerful part of your mind, your subconscious. So let's get a solid definition here. Self-hypnosis is a state of deep relaxation that you create and you control. It's all about focused attention that lets you tap into your subconscious. That's where all your deep-seated beliefs and habits are hanging out. And notice those key words, self-directed and self-controlled. You are always the one in the driver's seat. I want you to think of your conscious mind like a security guard standing at the door of a fancy club. It's always analyzing, criticizing, and saying things like, no, you can't do that, or that's never going to work. Well, the deep relaxation of self-hypnosis is kind of like giving that security guard a nice, long coffee break. It lets you just gently stroll past the velvet rope and deliver new, positive instructions directly to your subconscious, which is way more open to suggestions. This famous affirmation from Emile Coué is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. It's the kind of direct, positive message you can plant in your subconscious. It's simple, it's powerful, and when you repeat it in that receptive, relaxed state, it can actually start to reshape your core beliefs about yourself. All right, so we get what it is and kind of how it works, but why should you actually learn to do it? Let's talk about the incredible research-backed benefits, because there are a ton. The applications here are just huge. For something like anxiety, it helps calm down that fight or flight response right at the source. For things like chronic pain, it doesn't just magically make the pain go away, but it can retrain your brain to change how it perceives the pain signals. It's like you're turning down the volume on the discomfort. It's an amazing tool for overcoming fears or boosting confidence because you're literally getting to update the old, unhelpful programming that's been holding you back. Feeling a little inspired? Good, because now we get to the fun part. This isn't some complicated mystical ritual. You can do this yourself right now with just a few simple steps. Okay, here's the basic blueprint. First, just find a comfortable spot where you know you won't be disturbed. Second, focus on some slow, deep breaths to really calm your nervous system. Third, to induce the state, close your eyes and just imagine a peaceful place, a beach, a forest, whatever feels good to you. Fourth, once you're feeling relaxed, that's when you bring in your positive affirmations. And finally, when you're ready, you gently bring yourself back to full awareness. That's it. It's really that straightforward. So how long does this take? A great place to start is about 15 to 20 minutes a day. But here's the golden rule, remember? You are in full control. If you only have 5 minutes, that's awesome. If you want to go for 30, that's great too. It's completely up to you.
Just like with exercise, there's not just one way to do this. There are actually a bunch of different techniques, and you can play around with them to find the one that feels the most natural and effective for you. So here are some of the most common methods. Guided imagery is that peaceful place we talked about. Progressive muscle relaxation is where you tense up and then release different muscle groups. It's fantastic for physical tension. You could also just focus only on your breathing or on positive self-talk. Some people even use eye fixation, where you just stare at a single spot until your eyes naturally feel heavy. This is your personal toolkit. Mix and match, see what works. So, let's bring this all home. We've busted the myths, we understand the basic idea, and we've laid out the practical steps. So what's the big takeaway here?
It's really this. Self-hypnosis isn't some weird, mysterious thing. It's a natural skill. It's a safe, powerful, and honestly a pretty easy-to-learn technique for taking an active role in your own growth. Think of it as a direct line to your own operating system, allowing you to make real, lasting changes from the inside out. So I'm going to leave you with this one thought. Based on everything we've just talked about, you're in some kind of trance right at this very moment just by focusing on this explainer. The only real question is, throughout your day, who's directing your trances? Is it old habits? Is it past programming? Or just random distractions? With self-hypnosis, the answer to that question can finally be, you are.